Good day, class. So for today's topic natin is singly reinforced rectangular beam. So of course, this is specifically under flexural analysis. So ito yung part ng RCD na magsisimula na tayong mag-analyze ng beam section. Hindi lang ito definition ng concrete and steel from our introduction. Dito na natin gagamitin yung mga concepts like compression, tension, neutral axis, strain compatibility, stress block, and eventually the moment capacity, which is yun yung magiging emphasis ng ating topic. So, ang mindset natin dito is, let's say, given yung beam and yung concrete strength, then given din yung ating steel reinforcement. And then, question lang natin dito is, gaano ba kalakas yung ating beam or gaano ba kalakas yung ating structural member in terms of bending. So, of course, dito din sa ating discussion, we will having two parts. So, sabi ko kanina, we will having an analysis. Then, yung next one naman is we will having a design. No? So, yun yung magiging discussion natin for today's topic natin. So, part 1, ang focus natin ay analysis. So, kapag sinabi nating analysis, hindi pa tayo dito pumipili ng beam size or rebar. So, given na yun, ang gagawin natin is i-check natin kung ano ang capacity ng given section. So, later, ang magiging final objective natin is makukuha natin yung nominal capacity. Then we will apply the strength reduction factor, which is since yun yung magiging emphasis natin from the ultimate strength design. So makukuha din natin dito yung ating ultimate moment capacity. So in later is we'll need to compare those two. So ang magiging basic idea lang talaga dito is more on the emphasis na dito nung ating ultimate strength design method. Okay? So before tayo magsimula, we need to understand first the behavior ng beam kasi alam naman natin na ang beam ay isang structural member na primarily nagre-resist ng bending or ng flexure. So kapag may load ang beam, magbe-bend siya, and kapag nag-bend siya, may part ng beam na naiipit and may part din na nahihila. So usually for the positive bending later on, we will discuss on the compression and tension. Okay? So, dahil nga mahina nga yung concrete sa tension, of course, kailangan natin lagyan ng reinforcement. Kaya nga dito sa ating topic ng singly reinforced beam, we need to emphasize yung location ng ating steel reinforcement. Okay, so let's have this failure behavior, okay? So kung makikita ninyo dito sa ating image of beam failure, ang gusto nating makita dito is ano nga ba yung failure o paano nga ba natin siya oobserbahan, no? Kasi nga sa ating reinforced concrete kasi, hindi pwedeng sabihin natin na, oy, okay, madaming bakal yung nilagay natin so that may assurance tayo dito na may assurance tayo dito na matibay na siya already, no? So, in this case na nakikita ninyo sa ating mga beam failure, we need to identify kung anong klaseng failure nga ba siya. As you can see here dito sa ating beam failure or dito sa ating structural failure, makikita nyo dito na steel is ductile, so ibig sabihin buo pa rin yung ating main reinforcement or yung mga bakal natin. However, kung mapapansin niyo dito sa ating failure is nag-fail yung ating concrete or nag-chip away bigla yung ating concrete. So actually, you are seeing this as a over-reinforced design. So ang naka-highlight lang dito is concrete will fail first before steel. So ano nga bang ibig sabihin nun? So bago pa mag-yield yung steel or bago bumigay yung ating steel, yung concrete sa compression ay nagkakaroon ng crushing or nagsa-side crush na. Technically speaking, kapag madami or excessive yung ating steel reinforcement, so na which is sobrang daming bakal sa tension side, kaya hindi siya nag-yield. Ang nauuna tuloy ay yung concrete crushing sa compressive zone, okay? So naka-highlight din dito na of course steel is ductile, ibig sabihin mas gusto nating or ang pinakaano lang natin dito is mas gugustuhin muna natin dito na mag-yield muna yung bakal kaysa sa concrete. So which is, sabi ko nga nung nakaraan, yun yung advantage ng reinforced concrete. Kailangan muna natin dito magbigay ng early warning signs which is coming from our steel. Okay? So ano yung takeaway natin dito? Over-reinforced section or over-reinforced design is not preferred or di talaga natin yan gusto. Kasi nga mas nauna nga nagfe-fail yung concrete kaysa sa steel. Okay, so yung next failure behavior natin, as you can see here, this is a 3-point test to measure the bending capacity or the flexural capacity of a particular structural member, specifically sa beam. Kung mapapansin nyo dito sa ating failure is hindi naka-expose yung mga bakal natin which is coming from this failure. Ibig sabihin lang nito class is hindi agad-agad nag-chip away yung ating concrete. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin lang yan, class? Possible kasi, class, na kapag itong failure yung nakita ninyo, mas naunang mag-fail yung steel kaysa sa concrete. And ang tawag natin dito sa failure na ito is what you call under-reinforced design. Okay? Kapag sinabi natin under-reinforced design, ibig sabihin lang yan na utilize natin yung ductility ng steel reinforcement kaysa sa concrete. Of course, in terms of tension. So, sa design natin, hindi lang goal natin yung strength, no? So, of course, kailangan din natin i-achieve dito yung ductility. At ang tawag natin dito sa failure na ito is under-reinforced design. Okay, so on this text, so sabi dito on the analysis of singly reinforced beam, beams are structural member that mainly resist of bending of flexure. So kapag ang beam, ang primary action niya is bending, of course may shear din. Pero ang pinaka magiging emphasis ng ating topic under this code provision, which is the section 409.5, which is the design strength. So ibig sabihin lang nito, this is the code provision for our beams. Okay? Sa mga horizontal members natin. But to have an emphasis for this topic, ang magiging internal reaction na concern muna natin dito is all about bending moment, which is as you can see here in the first equation na nakikita nyo dito, which is yung ating nominal capacity multiplied by strength reduction factor should be greater than or equal to our design capacity or the ultimate bending moment. Ibig sabihin lang nito, this is the same principle coming from the ultimate stress design. All right, so let's proceed on our sectional analysis, okay? So meaning, hindi isang buong beam yung kailangan nating i-analyze dito, no? So may mga portion lang tayo na kailangan nating i-analysis, especially on the design portion later on. So let's have here a simple supported beam, no? So we have a uniform load and then ang maximum, of course, kung meron tayo ditong yung simply supported beam with a uniform load, obviously, yung magiging maximum moment natin ay nasa gitna or on this section, okay? So dito sa section natin, kukunin natin yung mga forces yung nag-act dito sa ating beam section. Particularly yung compression force, tension force, of course, the neutral axis depth, compression depth, block depth, steel stress, and then yung mga moment capacities natin. Okay? So sa analysis natin ay parang hinihiwa natin yung beam sa critical section, then titignan natin kung ano yung nangyayari inside. Okay? So let's emphasize further. So of course, kapag nilagay natin yung load sa ating beam, of course, makakaranas yan ng deflection. So alam naman natin na ang deflection primarily ay nanggagaling sa bending. But of course, in order to further observe yung ating bending moment, as you can see here, magkakaroon tayo dito ng dalawang stresses. No? So una, yung stress natin dito sa portion na ito na kung saan yung top portion ay naiipit, ibig sabihin lang yan, it will experience compression. So doon naman sa ilalim, which is wala dito sa ating diagram, pero best to assume here na kung ano yung nararanasan sa compression, babaliktarin lang or baliktad yung nangyayari sa baba natin, no? Kasi yung bending nga natin dito is going downward as you can see here dito sa ating uniform load, okay? So sa taas nakakaranas ng compression, sa baba nakakaranas ng tension on this part or section ng ating beam which is nasa gitna. All right, so let's have now the section. So of course, after natin ma-determine yung location na i-analyze natin, let's have this section. So best to assume that this is the center or ito yung the section midspan ng ating simple supported beam. As you can see here, yung rotation or yung deflection niya is being downward. So very important na ma-emphasize natin yung magiging bending ng ating beam section. Dahil nga sabi ko nga kanina, this will to emphasize dito yung compression and yung tension. Okay? So dalawang klaseng axial stress yung nararanasan ng ating bending moment. So on the top portion, it will experience compression. On the bottom portion, this is to experience tension. Ibig sabihin, yung kalahati ng ating beam or the upper portion of our beam experiencing compression. Sa baba naman, nararanasan niya dito is tension. Kasi nga nababatak nga yung fiber nung ating beam. And actually, if we will refer in our code provision, nasusulat din yan. So, ang emphasis natin dito is the section 422.2.2.3, which is the relationship between concrete compressive stress and strain shall be represented by a rectangular, trapezoidal, parabolic, or other shape that results in the prediction of strength in substantial agreement with the results of comprehensive test. So, ibig sabihin lang dito sa ating code provision, this is the general idea that our compression and tension, you can represent it into different kinds of shape loading. Kaso kasi, from your strength of materials, ito talaga yung emphasis ng itsura ng ating mga stresses. No? Kaso, ang problema lang natin dito is, since meron nga tayo ditong beam, dalawa yung nararanasan niya, compression and tension. And in terms of material, the best material that can resist compression is concrete. Kaso, one of the biggest weakness ng ating concrete is tensile stress, which is kailangan ding i-resist netong lower portion natin. Kaso nga, yung ating concrete, panigurado is magfe-fail yan right away kasi nga weak nga siya in tension. That's why class, kailangan nating lagyan ng bakal sa ilalim. Okay? So ibig sabihin kung nasaan ang tension, andun po yung ating main reinforcement. Okay? So ibig sabihin, yung upper portion natin, compression na nagre-resist, good dyan ang concrete. Ang tension naman, para ma-resist niyan, nilalagyan natin siya ng bakal. Okay? And ang tawag natin dito sa beam na ito is what you call singly reinforced beam. So this is a type of reinforced concrete beam where the reinforcement is provided only in the tension side of the section. So ibig sabihin, primarily speaking, na dapat nasa tension side talaga yung ating main reinforcement. May isa pa kasi tayong type ng reinforced concrete beam na kung saan meron din tayong bakal sa itaas. But later on, we will discuss further pagdating natin ng doubly reinforced beam. But for now, this is now the more simplified representation of the compression and tension. So, ibig sabihin lang nito class, since nga yung ating tensile stress na nandito, which is in this kind of shape, we can represent it now as a point load, which is this is to resist yung mga steel reinforcements natin. However, pagdating natin sa compression, we can also modify it according to the section 422.2.3, which is we can represent it as a parabolic stress block. And this parabolic stress block class, please remember na this is also represented by a distance of our neutral axis. Ibig sabihin lang ng neutral axis class is this is the transition between compression and tension. Kumbaga yan yung magiging boundaries natin. Okay? So palagi nyo tatandaan kapag under ng parabolic stress block, yung kanyang height is variable C. Okay? Which is, ang tawag din natin dito, this is the depth of stress block. Okay? So, kaya lang kasi class, ito yung pinakamalaking disadvantage when we are analyzing this kind of diagram. Kasi lalo na pagdating dito sa parabolic stress block. Kasi nga, alam naman natin na mahirap siyang i-compute numerically. That's why we need to convert its shape, or we need to convert this geometry of stress block into a much simpler shape. Okay? So in this section, alam naman natin, ulitin ko lang na yung distance ng fiber maximum compressive stress to the neutral axis C shall be measured perpendicular to the neutral axis. So once again, emphasis ko lang dito is yung value ng ating C is only the distance from the compression up to the neutral axis under parabolic stress block. However, class, mahirap siyang computein numerically. That's why we need to complement it using this code provision, which is under section 422.2.2.4.1 na nagsasabi dito, concrete stress of 0.85 F prime C shall be assumed uniform distributed over an equivalent compression zone bounded by the edges of the cross section and a line parallel to the neutral axis located a distance A from the fiber of the maximum compressive strain as calculated by this equation. Okay? So, emphasis lang natin kasi mahaba yung ating code provision for this one. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan, para ma-compute mo itong parabolic stress block, ang pwede natin kasing gawin dito, pwede natin siyang i-convert into rectangular stress block. Okay? Kaso, once you convert it into rectangular stress block, yung ating variable C, which is the depth of the compression, ang mangyayari ngayon dyan, class, mako-convert na siya into variable A. Na kung saan ang variable A natin, ang tawag natin dito is depth of rectangular stress block. Kasi nga, from parabolic stress block na nakikita nyo dito, na-convert na siya into rectangular stress block. Kaso, aside din sa ating depth of compression na na-convert, is we need to also utilize din yung gagamitin nating value for our compressive stress ng concrete. Kung kanina sa ating parabolic stress block, we are only considering here the F prime C. Kaso in the conversion of the rectangular stress block, siya ngayon po ay magiging 0.85 F prime C. Kumbaga class, pa-convert lang siya into rectangular stress block. Bakit nga ba natin siya kino-convert? Para madali nating malaman or madali nating makompute yung kanyang compressive force. Okay? Kasi nga, kung parabolic stress block ang gagamitin natin, actually, wala namang problema. Kaso kasi class, gagamit lang tayo dito ng mga komplikadong integral calculus kasi nga, yung ating, yung ating shape na nandito, okay? So, ang mangyayari kasi dyan class, di ba, kukunin natin yung force. So, ang mangyayari is stress multiplied by area. Kaso kasi class, yung area mo dito, siya, irregular. So para at least maging uniform, so inaalaw tayo ng ating NCP code provision under this section na i-convert natin from parabolic stress block up to rectangular stress block. So, ang magiging emphasis lang natin, yung ating depth of compression, magiging depth of rectangular stress block, which is in terms of A. So, para ma-convert natin yan, class, we need to multiply it with the beta 1. So, yung beta 1 natin, this is just a factor so that we can convert it into depth of rectangular stress block. Kaso, ano nga ba yung mga values ng beta 1 na pwede natin gamitin? Okay? So, dito naman magko-complement itong code provision na ito, which is the section 422.2.2.4.3. The values of the beta 1 shall be in accordance with the table 422.2.2.4.3, which is presented in this table. So, ito lang yung ating emphasis ng ating beta 1 para ma-convert mo yung depth of stress block, which is yung C, into depth of rectangular stress block A. Okay? So, ibig sabihin lang nito, yung ating beta 1, makukuha mo lang yung mga values niya depending on the values of our F prime C or on the values of our compression stress. So, emphasis lang natin to. So, makukuha mo lang ang 0.85 kapag ang value ng F prime C mo between 17 megapascal and 28 megapascal. So, kapag nag-sit in right dito sa range of value na ito, ibig sabihin your value of the beta 1, automatically, this is 0.85. However, if your value of your F prime C is greater than 28 megapascal, but less than 55 megapascal, you will use this special equation para magamit mo si beta 1, which is what you need to do here. You need to use this equation by substituting your value of F prime C, which is greater than 28 megapascal and less than 55 megapascal. So, dito mo makukuha if this value of your F prime C falls under this criteria. Okay? And lastly, for our last value of your beta 1, of course, if the value of your F prime C is more than 55 megapascal. Okay? So, ang gagamitin mo na dito, of course, the 0.65 as your value of your beta 1. Okay? So, ano nga ulit ang emphasis ng beta 1? Para ma-convert mo yung depth of stress block into depth of rectangular stress block. Kumbaga, from parabolic, co-convert natin siya into rectangle. Okay? So now, since ito na yung magiging basis natin for our analysis, so we have some additional code provision na kailangan nating isatisfy or kailangan natin ditong gamitin. Okay? So let's proceed with the section 422.2, Design Assumptions for Moment and Flexural Strength. So etong code provision na to, dito na natin i-emphasize yung mismong topic natin, which is the flexural analysis of a singly reinforced beam. Okay? So let's proceed right away with the section 422.2.1.1 na nagsasaad dito, equilibrium shall be satisfied in each section. Okay? Tapos pangalawa, the section 422.2.1.2, strain in concrete and non-pre-stress reinforcement shall be assumed proportional to the distance from the neutral axis. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, class, aside doon sa ating stress, okay, you need to also emphasize din yung paggamit natin dito ng strain, which is later on, I will explain, no? I will explain dito yung maging relationship ng mga strains natin. Okay? And lastly, under the section 422.2.2.1, maximum strain at the extreme concrete compression fiber shall be assumed equal to 0.003. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, class, yung strain or yung relationship between ng deformation for our concrete is always ang value na palagi is 0.003. Kumbaga, fixed value na po yung magiging strain nung ating concrete. Okay? So, following this design assumption for our strength design method in the flexural analysis, so mas maganda, class, let's further elaborate this one using the diagrams or using these two satisfactions na minention ko. Alright. So this is now the respective diagram na kailangan nating isaalang-alang. First is the stress diagram. Yung stress diagram natin, actually, this is only the side view nung nakikita nyo ditong loadings natin. Okay? So which is, ito ay galing sa compression and this one is kay tension. Okay? So ginawa lang natin side view so that we can further visualize yung magiging derivations ng mga formulas natin. As well as, kung meron tayong stress diagram, gagamitin din natin si strain diagram. Okay? Strain diagram, nagsasatisfy dito sa diagram na to ay yung section 422.1.2. Okay? Na kung saan dapat proportional or specifically linear proportional yung ating strain ng concrete and yung strain ng ating tensile reinforcement. Kaya lang, following with this provision, dapat yung ating strain ng ating concrete has a fixed value of 0.003. While yung sa ating steel naman, of course, from your strength of materials, we can use here the stress over the modulus of elasticity. However, we will just emphasize dito yung galing sa yung galing sa ating strength of materials, okay? Or specifically on our steel material. All right. So let's start the derivation of the following formula. Of course, class, kailangan pa rin natin i-emphasize itong tatlong provisions na to under equilibrium and strain compatibility. All right. So let's start with our force equilibrium. Okay? So, ibig sabihin lang nito, class, ang focus natin dito ay galing sa stress diagram. Okay? So, tingnan nyo lang na mabuti kung ano yung magiging considerations natin under this stress diagram. So, under force equilibrium, we can use the summation of forces along x. Okay? Ibig sabihin, puro horizontal ay i-consider natin dito. As you can see here, dalawang forces lang yung i-consider natin for the horizontal, which is yung tension and then the compression. Yung tension natin, this one, galing kay steel. Yung compression natin ay galing sa concrete. Okay? So, of course, tension minus compression is equal to 0. Satisfy yung ating summation of forces of X. So, ang gagawin ko lang, lipat ko lang sa kabila yung pressure, no? Lipat ko lang siya sa kabila. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, compression is now equal to tension. Okay? So, magde-derive lang tayo ng mga formula galing dito sa relationship na ito. So, may mga i-recall lang tayong mga formula galing sa strength of material. Alam naman natin na ang stress is equal to the actual force then divided by our area. Yung area which is subjected sa stress. So, ang gawin ko lang, computing ko lang dito yung actual force by simply cross-multiplying yung aking area dito sa aking stress. So, ito yung lalabas sa kanya. P is equal to sigma, which is stress multiplied area. Okay? So, incorporate natin siya dito para sa compression and tension. Alam naman natin, kapag nag-consider tayo sa compression, we already know that the stress here is equal to 0.85 F prime C. Okay? So, yan yung magiging stress ng ating compression. Then, yung ating area dito is the area of the compression. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung sakop ng ating rectangular stress block, yun lang yung i-consider mong area. So, yung area natin dito is just simply the depth of rectangular stress block multiplied by the width of our beam. So, by simply substituting para sa ating compression, ito yung magiging actual force niya. Kaso, compression nga lang to. Ulitin ko, ang stress natin for the compression is the converted 0.85 F prime C and then yung ating area which is the area of compression which is the depth of rectangular stress block and then yung ating width of the beam. That's why class, doon sa ating supported provision na minention ko kanina na pwede natin siya i-convert from the parabolic stress block to the rectangular stress block. Ito yung purpose niya para madali nating makuha yung kanyang equivalent actual force which is in terms of compression. Okay? Now, nakuha natin kay compression. What we need to do here, gawin naman natin para kay tension. Para naman kay tension, same principle, stress multiplied by area. Kaso, ang magiging stress natin dito sa portion na ito is the stress ng steel. Usually, we can use here the actual value of stress or yung yielding stress. Kaso, pinaka-importante dito dapat kay steel. So, kung multiply mo yung stress ng steel, dapat isasama mo rin dito yung area ng steel. Ibig sabihin, the area of the reinforcement that you are seeing here that is now subjected to tension. So, yan yung magiging actual force niya in terms of tension. Ngayon, balikan ulit natin itong relationship na ito galing sa force equilibrium. What we can do here, we can already substitute yung mga na-derive natin sa compression and tension. So our first set of formula is this one. 0.85 F prime C multiplied by A times B or the area of compression. This is equal to the stress of steel multiplied by the area of your reinforcement. Which is, this equation class, hindi natin to nakikita sa NSCP 2015, but this is the interpretation of the section 422.2.1.1. Okay? Now, additionally, sa ating code provision, may tinatawag tayo dito na steel ratio. Okay? So, ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng steel ratio? Ang ibig sabihin lang nito, this is just the relationship between the ratio of your area. Kaso, anong area to? Area ng reinforcement over the gross area. Please take note, kapag sinabi natin gross area, ito ang area ng concrete mo kung nasaan yung ating effective depth. Later on kasi, dito sa ating steel ratio, babalikan natin yan, especially in the non-rectangular sections. But for now, what we can consider here for our steel ratio, the relationship of your steel area or the area of your main reinforcement, and also divided by lang natin siya sa ating base or the width of the beam multiplied by the effective depth, which is yung area na nasasakop dito. Okay? So yan yung magiging second formula natin for our analysis of singly reinforced. Okay, so nasatisfy na natin dito yung condition for the force equilibrium or the equilibrium itself. So, ibig sabihin na nito, we are done dealing with our stress diagram. So, let's check naman sa strain diagram. Importante din na masuri natin itong diagram na to kasi possible kasi class na pwede tayong makakuha ng iba't ibang relationship under this diagram. So, let's have the strain compatibility. So, ang gagawin ko, since yung itsura ng ating strain diagram ay mukha siyang similar triangle, why not to use the ratio and proportion? Okay? So, yan yung gagamitin ko. So, using the ratio and proportion, ibig sabihin lang nito is using this relationship between first yung ating horizontal distance, which is yung ating strain. And then the vertical distance naman, which is yung nasa denominator natin. Okay? So yung left side natin of the equation, ito yung ratio ng base and height ng ating steel. Then sa right side naman, this is the ratio of your base and height naman sa ating concrete. Okay? So, may substitute lang ako na value para sa strain ng concrete, which is as presented here in our strain diagram. So ito yung magiging substitution niya. Okay? So actually, we can determine the value of the strain of our steel reinforcement kapag kinoros multiply na natin yung effective depth minus the depth of stress block. Okay? So yan yung next equation na makikita ninyo. You can use this one kung gusto niyo makakuha ng actual steel strain. Pero kasi from our strength of materials, you can use this one, okay? Which is the stress divided by our modulus of elasticity. Of course, kailangan din natin itong i-conform on our material, okay? So actually, pwede nyo rin itong gamitin. But please remember na yung ating gagamitin na modulus of elasticity ng isang steel is nasa 200,000 megapascal. But on the way, let's derive other formula from here, no? So actually, pwede din nating makompute dito yung actual stress ng ating main reinforcement. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, we can substitute yung ating steel strain or stress, ng steel strain coming from our strength of material. So, ito yung magiging itsura ng ating next equation. Okay? Kaso, please remember na yung value ng ating modulus of elasticity of the steel, once again, this is equal to 200,000 megapascal. So kapag sinubstitute natin siya dito, by the way, biniring down ko lang yung modulus of elasticity, then substitute ko na agad yung 200,000 megapascal. Okay? So yung next na gagawin nyo dito, actually, para makuha nyo yung stress ng ating steel, you can do it as cross multiplication. Okay, so performing the cross multiplication, yung next equation na pwede nating ma-derive dito is the actual stress of the steel is now equal to 600 multiplied by effective depth minus depth of stress block, then over depth of stress block. Okay? Which is, bakit naging 600 na lang yun nandito? Kasi nga, kapag minultiply nga natin yung 0.003 and the 200 megapascal, ang lalabas sa kanya dito ay 600. Okay? Which is, yan yung pwede ninyong gamitin, no? Yan yung pwede ninyong gamitin naman as the part of your determination of our stress of the main reinforcement. Okay, so may mga criteria lang tayo na kailangang i-take note, no? Kasi very important to later on sa mga sample problems natin kasi mag-a-assume tayo dito, okay? So ganito ang magiging emphasis natin. If the actual steel stress is greater than or equal to our yielding stress, actually, mag-yield talaga yan. So that yung ating actual steel stress, sometimes you can equal it with our yield strength. Okay? However, if the steel does not yield, what you need to do here is you need to satisfy this condition. So, ibig sabihin, dapat yung ating yield strength should be, or yung ating actual steel stress, it should be less than by our still stress. Kapag ganyan yung condition, class, of course, you need to determine the actual still stress using this formula na na-derive natin kanina. Okay, so let's now compute for our flexural strength. So ibig sabihin lang nito, class, we will having two sets of flexural strength. Actually, parehas lang naman sila nung magiging derivation natin. So first, ang gagawin ko lang dito, I will reference my flexural strength o yung aking bending moment sa tension side. Ibig sabihin lang nito, highlighted dito yung ating actual load and then yung ating moment arm. Okay? By the way, yung moment arm natin, paano yan nakuha is pinag-minus lang natin dito yung effective depth and then yung kalahati ng ating rectangular stress block. Okay? So from our theory of structures, you can utilize this one. Okay, so technically speaking, once again, ang makukuha lang na muna nating bending moment dito is what you call the nominal moment. So yung nominal moment natin dito is force multiplied by the moment arm. However, since tayo ay magmo-moment sa tension side, ibig sabihin lang nito, you need to, yung magiging force natin dito is compression. Then our moment arm here is still D minus A over 2. And then class, yung kanina, yung ating compression force, actually, you can substitute back yung kinumpute natin earlier. So that yung magiging first set ng ating nominal moment is in this manner. Okay? So yan yung magiging nominal bending moment natin. Actually, you can also derive the other way around para makakuha ka ng nominal moment sa ating beam section kapag ikaw ay moment naman sa compression side, which is same manner lang naman din, force multiplied by your moment arm. Kaya lang yung magiging force mo dito ay magiging tension na siya. Then yung moment arm natin, same lang siya coming from the first derivation natin dito. Okay? Tapos, i-substitute back lang natin yung ating tension, which is na-derive natin kanina, which is ito naman yung other way around para makapag-compute ka ng nominal bending moment. Actually, either of the two ang pwede mong gamitin. Kung magmo-moment ka sa compression, ito ang gagamitin mo. Kung magmo-moment ka sa tension, ito naman ang gagamitin mong formula. Pero please take note, since magkakaroon tayo ng couple effect ng compression and tension, ibig sabihin lang yan, either of the two, parehas lang po yung magiging nominal moments natin. Okay? Now, na-address na natin dito yung nominal moment. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, para makuha natin yung ultimate or yung bending design moment natin, what we need to do here, we need to apply the principle of our ultimate strength design. So, ibig sabihin lang yan, para makuha mo dito yung ultimate strength, what you need to do here is you need to multiply your nominal strength sa ating strength reduction factor, which is yung phi. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, this is now our design bending moment equation. Kaso, pagdating natin dito sa ating flexural strength, so na-address na natin dito yung nominal moment, we need to address here yung ating strength reduction factor. Ano nga ba ang mga ginagamit nating strength reduction factor under flexural analysis, which is provided by this equation. Okay? So, under ng section 422.1.3, design strength at dissections shall be taken as a nominal strength multiplied by the applicable design strength factor phi given in section 421. Okay? Which means that under section 421, medyo mahaba kasi yon. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, this is the applicable strength reduction factor para kay moment. Okay? So, ibig sabihin lang nito, class, is kapag kinuha natin dito yung actual steel string and we will compare with each other, ito yung makukuha natin mga values ng strength reduction factor. Kaso for our emphasis here and for our simplicity here, ang gagawin lang natin dito, this variable of our string for the grade 280 deformed reinforcement, papalitan lang natin siya ng 0.002. Okay? So, emphasis lang natin. Ayan. So, mas malinaw na nating i-discuss kung paano natin kukunin yung ating strength reduction factor. Ganito lang yan, class. Kapag nakuha mo yung actual steel string, and then this is less than or equal to our 0.002, ang classification natin dyan, class, is compression controlled. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng compression control? Ang ibig sabihin lang po niyan, class, mas mauunang mag-fail yung ating concrete. Or should I say, this is now under over-reinforced design. If that is the case, class, yung magiging strength reduction factor natin or yung value ng phi is now equal to 0.65. Automatic na po yun kapag yung ating strain is less than or equal to 0.002. Okay? The next one classification for our strength reduction factor, if the actual strain in our steel is between 0.002 and 0.005, ang classification na natin dito is transition. If that is the case, you need to determine the strength reduction factor using this equation. Okay? Kumbaga, equation-based na yung magiging gagamitin mo para makuha mo yung strength reduction factor. Okay? Then the last one, and the ideal for our design, if the value of your strain is greater than or equal to 0.005, ang classification natin dito, this is now under tension control. If that is the case, class, yung magiging value ng ating strength reduction factor is now being 0.9. Okay? So, to further elaborate, no, mas madali natin siyang maintindihan kapag tayo ay gumagamit ng graph. Okay? So, on this graph, ibig sabihin lang yan, kapag compression controlled class, kahit saan yan, hanggat hindi ka pa lumalagpas sa region na ito, ibig sabihin lang yan, ang strength reduction factor mo ay mananatiling 0.65. Kaso, kapag ikaw ay nasa transition portion or transition region ka, ibig sabihin lang yan, possible na somewhere here on the range of 0.65 and 0.9 yung magiging value ng inyong strength reduction factor. Okay? However, if you will exceed sa transition and under ka na ng tension control region, ibig sabihin lang yan, fix na po yung magiging value ng ating strength reduction factor which is always equal to 0.9. Okay? So please take note, ideally, ang 0.9, emphasis ko lang, this is under reinforced design, which is yun yung ideal na gusto nating mangyari. Which is, ang gusto nating mangyari dito is unang-munang magfa-fail ang steel bago ang concrete. Unlike with the 0.65, which is the emphasis of the compression control, ibig sabihin lang yan, class, this is under the over-reinforced failure. Okay? Okay, so let's proceed naman sa different types of failure at the strain limits natin. Okay? So we will having this one. Okay. So may mga iba't iba tayong types ng failure, no? So first is the balance section. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating balance section, ideally, class, sabay nagfa-fail yung concrete tsaka yung ating steel reinforcement, no? So ibig sabihin lang nito is nagre-reach yung ating strain ng concrete to 0.003 at nagre-reach ng strain according to this value. Okay? So, ibig sabihin simultaneous silang nag-fail, no? So, ano nga ba yung mga formulas that we can derive under this condition? Okay? So, solve muna natin dito yung ating depth of stress block under the balance condition. So, recall lang natin, coming from our strain diagram, we can emphasize here the usage of our ratio and proportion, okay? Which is the ratio of our of the base and height, okay? Ngayon, sabi ko nga kanina, kailangan natin kunin yung tinatawag na C balance or the depth of stress block under the balance condition. What we can do here is we can substitute yung ating strain of the steel according to the stress over the modulus of elasticity, which is under this substitution. Okay? And then let's solve for our depth of stress block under the balance condition or the CBAL. So what you can do here, you can perform here cross multiplication para mapawala natin yung denominator. Okay? And then distribute lang natin yung 600 dito sa first term which is the effective depth and then dito sa ating C balance. Okay? And then ang gagawin lang natin, let's combine first the similar terms. So once we combine the similar terms, we can factor out this variable kasi common monomial factor between 600 and then yung ating yield strength. Okay? So ang ibig sabihin lang nito, class, the next portion of the equation or the formula that you can use here para malaman mo yung balance depth of stress block is under this formula. Okay? So ngayon, Computin naman natin yung still ratio. So, napakita ko sa inyo kanina na ang still ratio, this is just the ratio of your area for your steel reinforcement and then sa gross area. But for our rectangular section, we will emphasize on this more derived formula. Okay? So, kunin muna natin dito yung area of reinforcement in terms of steel ratio and then our gross area. Alright, so para makuha natin dito yung steel ratio under the balance condition, so balikan ulit natin dito yung equilibrium compatibility natin, which is compression is equal to tension. Then let's emphasize further on this, okay? On this another derived equation that I presented here. So as you can see here, hindi natin muna makikita dito yung in terms of our steel ratio. But first is yung ating depth of rectangular stress block. Since tayo ay nasa balance condition, actually, you can change this one as the beta 1 multiplied by our depth of stress block, which is under the balance condition. Okay? Then, substitute lang natin yung galing sa ating C balance and then dito sa ating A sub S. So, ito na po yung magiging next derivation natin. Okay? And then, since pwede nating i-divide both sides yung gross area, B times the effective depth, and then yung ating yielding strength, ang makukuha natin dito is in this equation for the steel ratio under the balance condition. However, kailangan mapalitan din natin dito yung ating C balance, which is by substituting this equation or this formula that I presented here earlier. And you can now have the steel ratio under the balance condition. Once again, kapag balance condition, sabay pong nagfe-fail ang concrete and steel. Next derivation naman tayo or next failure naman na kailangan nating alamin dito is the maximum condition. Actually, we have two types of maximum condition here. Typically, when the strain, the value of the strain of your steel is exactly 0.04, or under the tension control, which is 0.005, no? So, which is emphasis natin yan later on, no? But first, let's have the under the maximum condition. Alright, so kapag maximum condition, obviously, hindi na nagfe-fail dito ng sabay yung ating concrete and steel. Usually, kapag maximum section or maximum condition, ibig sabihin lang nito, mas nauunan na pong mag-fail yung ating steel kaysa sa concrete. Or should I say, this is now under the under reinforced section, which is yun naman yung ideal na gusto natin. Mas gusto muna nating bumigay yung steel kaysa sa concrete. Okay? So, of course, same lang with our balance condition. Let's take first the equation na mabubuo natin under the depth of stress block under the maximum condition. Okay? So, of course, we can use, once again, sa ating strain diagram, yung ratio and proportion. Okay? And then, substitute ko lang dito yung value ng ating strain ng steel. So, in this case, hindi na siya Fy over E kasi nga pang-balance condition nga lang siya. So ang sa-substitute na natin dito is 0.04 kasi nga nasa maximum condition na tayo. Okay? And then same manner lang yung ginawa natin. So what we can do here is nag-cross multiply ako. Actually, my cross multiplication here is dinivide ko muna yung 0.03 sa 0.04. That's why ang lalabas sa kanya is now being 4/3. Okay? And then, next derivation natin dito, of course, pagsamahin lang natin dito yung mga similar terms. Actually, 1 plus 4/3, ang lalabas ngayon dito is 3/7. No? Hindi, sorry, ano pala? 7/3. No? So, 7/3, and then, i-cross multiply lang natin for our effective depth para makuha na natin alone yung ating depth of stress block under the maximum condition, ang lalabas ngayon dito, this is now being 3/7 or 3/7 multiplied by our effective depth. Okay? So yan ay gagamitin mo kapag ikaw ay naghahanap ng depth of stress block under maximum condition. Okay? So of course, let's solve naman din yung ating steel ratio under the maximum condition. Ito class, mas importante to, lalo na mamaya pagdating natin sa design, okay? So let's recall yung ating formula for our steel ratio. And then next tayo, of course, solve muna natin yung steel area in terms of our steel ratio and our gross area. And then emphasis lang ulit natin dito yung ating equilibrium compatibility. And then substitute lang natin yung mga necessary conditions natin. So of course, para dito sa ating depth of rectangular stress block, we can emphasize here yung paggamit ng beta 1 multiplied by depth of stress block. And then of course, meron din tayong representation for our steel reinforcement area. So kapag sinubstitute natin siya and kapag sinolve na natin yung ating maximum steel ratio here, ang makukuha na natin dito ay itong value na ito. Okay? So, bakit nga ba siya naging ganito? Una, kapag sinubstitute mo yung 3/7 effective depth dito sa equation na ito, actually, ang makakancel lang dito is yung effective depth. So, may effective depth ka dito sa left side, may effective depth ka rin dito sa right side. So, magka-cancel up lang po yan. Okay? And then, ang next naman na makakancel dito, of course, yung ating width of the beam. May width of the beam ka sa left side, may width of the beam ka sa right side, makakancel din po yan. So that, ito na yung magiging more simplified version ng ating steel ratio under the maximum condition. Mas magagamit natin yan kapag tayo ay nasa design aspect. Pero for our analysis, most likely, hindi natin ito ma-encounter tong steel ratio na ito. So mostly sa design portion siya ginagamit. Okay, so okay na tayo sa balance condition, maximum condition. Then next naman tayo, which is the tension controlled section. Kapag tension control section, so ang ibig sabihin lang niyan, sa maximum, kino-consider natin na ang strain ng ating steel is 0.004. This time around, this is more than or equal to 0.005. Okay? So ano nga ba yung mga equations na mostly na pwede natin magamit? So same lang din kanina, we can determine what is the depth of rectangular stress, we can determine the depth of stress block, which is ang magiging emphasis na rin natin dito is C sub T. Same lang nung ginawa natin kanina, we can use the relationship of our strain diagram using the ratio and proportion. So that under the tension control section, this is now being 3/8 multiplied by the effective depth. Okay? So same manner lang din para makuha naman natin yung tension, no? So yung still ratio for our tension. Okay? So same manner lang siya. And then ito na yung lalabas na equation for that. So, in-emphasize lang ulit natin dito yung ating equilibrium compatibility. Okay? And then last type of failure is now being compression controlled section. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito class, yung ating value ng strain is now being less than or equal to 0.002. Pero class, yung kanina, yung dinerive natin earlier, mas importante dito yung maximum condition and then yung ating tension controlled section. Okay, so in our summary, ito yung mga presented formulas na pinakita ko kanina. Actually, we have a note here pagdating natin sa flexural design analysis, which is these 7 steps, actually we can reduce it into 4. So mamaya, sa ating mga sample problems under the analysis of the flexural strength of a singly reinforced beam, we will follow a 4 easy steps para ma-solve natin yung kanyang flexural capacity. And these are the following summary of our derived formulas. So next up will be our first sample problem in the analysis of singly reinforced beam.